kids, so what I've decided, okay, before I start today's topic, there's something that I'd like to tell you. We have yet to do the last stanza of We Are the Music Makers. I'll do that in the next class. And in the next class, I just, before I deliver the next lecture, I want you to go through the story Quality by John Galsworthy as well, because I will discuss points related to that story as well. So do be prepared for the next class. That's the last stanza of We Are the Music Makers. That's what I'll do, and I will also discuss the points of the story Quality, the important points. Fine. So today what we will do is, I've decided to do something very simple, very basic, that's subject-verb agreement, and you kids are already familiar with subject-verb agreement, but I decided to actually brush you up on this particular topic, okay, to jog your memory a bit. Fine. So I'm sure you know this, but still, let's start. So remember, the first thing that you need to remember, kids, is that remember that the verb has to agree with the subject in terms of number and person. Okay, so it's like this. Simple example, let's say the cats meow. The cat meows. So now if you look at these two sentences, so the first thing you have to do is you have to identify the subject. So if you look at the first sentence, what is the subject? The subject is the cats, and cats is plural. So the subject is plural out here, so that will be followed by the plural form of the verb. If you look at the second sentence, now this, what is the subject? The subject is the cat. Okay, so since the subject out here in the second sentence is singular, it has to be followed by the singular form of the verb. So this is the rule. Okay, and I also want you to remember another thing which is very, very important, and this is a point where kids tend to get confused, is if you add s or es to a noun, okay, then that noun becomes plural. However, with verbs, it's the exact opposite. With a verb, if you add s or es, then the verb becomes singular. So do remember this point. For example, let's say if you have the verb 1 column, you have, let's say, go, you have, let's say, swim, let's say you have teach, let's say you have run. So all these are verbs. Okay, but all these verbs that you see on below, verb 1, all these verbs are in their plural forms. So now if I add an es here, or if I add an s here, or if I add an es here, or if I add s here, so now these verbs have become singular. So please do remember this point. With nouns, how it works is, let's say you have car. So if you add an s, so now because I've added s to the noun car, so now this particular noun has become plural. So with verbs, remember, if you add s and es, then you make the verbs singular. And I've written the example for you on the board. So this is one thing I want you to remember. Another thing I want you to remember is with the subject pronouns, the verbs that you have to use with the subject pronouns. So let's say I will give you an example using the verb go. So it will be I go, first person singular, second person singular, you go, but he, she, or it goes. Okay, so first person singular, second person singular, third person singular. So what about the plural forms? We go, you go, and they go. So now what is evident from these constructions is this, that with all the subject pronouns you use the plural form of the verb, except for third person singular you will use the singular form of the verb. So please do remember this point as well. So now when it comes to subject verb agreement, there are plenty of rules, but we'll just go through some rules, okay, so that you get a hang of it. Okay, so I hope I've made myself clear to this point. Okay, till this, okay, fine. So now let's look at the rules. Okay, so we'll start with the rules now. So remember that when two, let's say, singular subjects are joined using the conjunction and the verb is plural. I'll give you write examples for you on the board. So let's say Shivansh and Anup are coming to school. No problem. So Shivansh and Anup are coming to school. So let's say this is example number 1. Example number 2 would, let's say a carpenter and a mechanic live in our town. Okay, and let's say a fool and his money are soon parted. So now kids, one thing I want you to remember is, if you want to be good with subject verb agreement, then you have to, the first thing you have to do is you have to find the subject. Once you find the subject, you have to figure out the number of the subject, okay, and then accordingly you have to figure out which form of the verb to use. Either you use the singular form of the verb or you use the plural form of the verb. So if you look at these 3 sentences, so you have Shivansh, you have Anup, Shivansh and Anup. So there are 2 individuals involved, so the subject is plural, that's why I have used the plural form of the verb. Here too you have a carpenter and a mechanic. So these are 2 individuals involved, that's why I have 2 subjects out here, that's why I have used the plural form of the verb. Here as well, there are 2 subjects here joined by the conjunction and, joined using the conjunction and. So here too I have used the plural form of the verb. So this is the first rule, okay. So however, in English, in grammar, you also have exceptions to rules. So now what are the exceptions? Okay, so the exceptions, and you want to be careful about this. Well, the exceptions are as follows. Exceptions. So let's say when the subjects denote one idea to the mind, okay, then we use the singular form of the verb. For example, let's say rice and curry is my favorite meal. Or let's say slow and steady wins the race. Or let's say truth and honesty is the best policy. So now if you look at these 3 sentences, kids, okay, so what we have here, though you have rice and curry, these 2 subjects have been joined using the conjunction and, but despite that, we consider this to be one unit. So you can look at it this way. Let's say the food consisting of rice and curry is my favorite meal. So here I have used the singular form of the verb. So slow and steady wins the race. So let's say the plan of BEING being slow and steady wins the race. So that's why, since we consider slow and steady as one unit, it suggests one idea to the mind. That's why I've used the singular form of the verb. Remember that this is the plural form of the verb and this is the singular form of the verb. Likewise, let's say truth and honesty. So let's say the practice of truth and honesty is the best policy. So again, we consider truth and honesty as one unit. So it suggests one idea to the mind. That's why I've used the singular form of the verb here. Okay. So I hope this point is clear. We have a lot more to do. So I will move on. Now there is another exception to this rule, and you kids know this, I'm sure. Let's say the scholar and poet is dead. Or let's say my friend and patron is not at home. Or let's say the secretary and counselor is attending the meeting. So now if you look at the first sentence, the scholar and poet is dead. So here you need to remember that for this noun and this noun, okay, there is one common article that has been used. Okay, so basically if you look at this noun, before the noun scholar you have the, but before poet there is no article out here. So what does this indicate, or what does this mean? This means that we are talking about the same person. Likewise, here too we are talking about the same person, because we are using a common possessive adjective, kids, for both the noun friend as well as the noun patron. So we are talking about one person. That's why I've used the singular form of the verb here. I've used the singular form of the verb here. So now if you look at the sentence lettered C, the secretary and counselor is attending the meeting out here again. You look at this, which is the subject? The subject is the secretary and counselor. Okay. Now before this noun secretary there is an article, the, but before the counselor, is there any article? No, there is no article. So what does this mean? This clearly indicates to us that we are talking about the same person. So the same person has two roles, he has two functions. So he does the job of a secretary, he is also perhaps the counselor. So now, okay, so let's say if I write this sentence in another way. So let's say if I've written the secretary and the counselor are attending the meeting. So if I write the sentence like this, all that you have to do is you have to look for the placement of the articles. Okay, so before the secretary there is the article the, before counselor there is the definite article the. So it means that this is one person and this is another individual or another person. So here basically the subject is plural. That is the reason why we will use the plural form of the verb. So do you remember that? Here so this is the second example. I will talk about or nor, either or, neither nor. So how does it work out here? Well, it's very, very simple actually. Well, if two singular subjects are connected by or nor, either or neither nor, then you will use the singular form of the verb. So now how does it work? Simple. let's say no boy or girl is allowed to play in the corridors. Okay, let's say sentence number B, let's say either Gaurav or Hemant is to be promoted. Let's look at another sentence. Let's say neither the man nor his wife has done much work. Now if you look at these three sentences, kids, here we have or, okay, which is a conjunction. So we have two singular subjects, okay, and between these two singular subjects we have or. In such cases we will use the singular form of the verb. So we've used the correlative conjunction out here, either or. Which are the subjects? The subjects are Gaurav and Hemant. So in such cases, if two singular subjects are used with sentences that use or, nor, either or neither nor, you will use the singular form of the verb. Likewise, here you have the correlative conjunction neither nor. Which are the subjects? The subjects are the man and his wife, and the subjects are singular. In such cases, you will use the singular form of the verb. Okay? Now, if the subjects, if let's say one of the subjects is singular and the other is plural, then what will you do? So let's say, okay, I will write sentences for you on the board. Let's say either, let's say either the student or his friends are to blame. Let's say neither the rooster nor the hens are in the yard. Or let's say the man or his sons plow the field. Okay, so now if you look at these three sentences, okay, so here we have two subjects. One is the student and the other you have his friends. So one subject is singular, the other subject is plural. In such cases, what you will have to do is, you will have to place the plural subject close to the verb. This in English is called the rule of proximity, and it is the, just remember, it is the subject that's closest to the verb, that's nearest the verb, that will determine the number or the form of the verb. Okay, but if you have in a sentence, in such sentences, if there is a singular subject and if there is a plural subject, you place the plural subject close to the verb. So please do remember that. So if you look at these three examples, either the student or his friends are to blame. So since the subject closest to the verb is plural, okay, that's why we've used the plural form of the verb. Here it's hens. So the subject out here is plural, that's why we've used the plural form of the verb. And here the man or his sons. So this particular subject is singular, this particular subject is plural. In such cases, in such a case, for this sentence we will use the plural form of the verb. Why? Because the noun or the subject that's closest to so the noun or the subject that's closest to the verb is in its plural form. That's why we will use the plural form of the verb. Okay. So do remember that. Okay. Okay, now there's another thing that you need to remember is this, that when the subjects are different, okay, then the form of the verb agrees with the subject closest to it. Here I'm talking about first person, second person and third person. So if you look at these three sentences, either you or they are mistaken. So here you have two subjects, you, okay, second person singular and they, third person plural. So the form of the verb will be decided by what? Will be decided by the subject that's closest to the verb. So since this is third person plural, that's why I've used the plural form of the verb. Likewise, if you look at the other two sentences, then here what you have is, here you have again you, here you have third person singular, that's why I've used this form of the verb. So this sentence will read like this: neither you nor he has come. And if you look at the third sentence, Siddharth or I am at the top of the class. So here you have third person singular, here you have first person singular. So what is it that I have focused on to decide on the form of the verb to use? I have looked at the pronoun out here that is closest to the verb. So this sentence will read like this: Siddharth or I am at the top of the class. So here we are talking about, remember, pronouns and subjects in first person, second person and third person. So just remember that. Okay, so let's move on to the next rule now. Okay, so now in English we have connectors. Okay, so connectors like, let's say, or you have certain phrases like, let's say, with, along with, in addition to, let's say, no less than, let's say, besides, let's say, as, well as, etc. So let's say when these phrases are used, okay, then what form of the verb will we use? It's very, very simple. I'll write example sentences for you on the board. So let's say the rider as well as the horse was hurt. So let's say no one besides Ajit has understood this. Or let's say the mother along with her sons is waiting at the door. Or let's say, we can add one word, we can add the word unlike. So let's say my father, unlike my uncles, is very strict. Or let's say the industry your industry, what do I mean by industry? I mean to say hard work. Industry in addition to ability is necessary for success. So now if you look at these sentences out here, we have as well as here, we have besides here, we have along with here, we have unlike here, and we have in addition to here. So in such cases, okay, if you see such phrases, okay, or such groups of words, then you will look at the number of the subject that comes before. Okay, so the rider out here is singular. Okay, so that's why I've used the singular form of the verb. Okay, so no one besides Ajit. So you have the word besides. So look at the number of the subject, no one. Before the word besides. So no one is an indefinite pronoun. That's why I've used the singular form of the verb. So look at the sentence. This sentence. Okay, sentence letter C. So the mother along with her sons is waiting at the door. So don't let this part sons confuse you. Okay, so since we've used along with out here, you will have to look at the number of the subject that comes before along with. So since mother is singular, that's why I've used the singular form of the verb. Likewise, father is singular, I've used the singular form of the verb. Okay, industry, singular, that's why I've used the singular form of the verb. Okay, so be very careful, okay, with this set of words. Okay, so this is it. Now let's move on to another rule. So now we will look at the use of collective nouns. Collective nouns, we usually consider them to be singular, but sometimes they can be used to denote, let's say, the members of a group or the parts of a unit. So let's see how it works with collective nouns. Okay, very simple collective noun. So let's say the committee has unanimously taken its decision. Or let's say the mob has gathered outside let's say a mob has gathered outside the American embassy. Okay, you could have used the as well, that wasn't a problem, but anyway, so let's look at these two sentences. Now the committee, so this is a collective noun. Here you have mob, which is a collective noun. So we are talking about this collective nouns are considered singular, and here we are talking about a unit, one unit. So that's why we've used the singular form of the verb has here. Here too we've used the singular form of the verb has. So the committee has unanimously taken now its decision. Be very careful of the way you use this adjective here. Okay, this possessive adjective here. Be very careful of that. You can't have their decision, because here we are talking about this particular collective noun committee as one unit. So likewise, the mob has gathered outside the American embassy. We are talking about the mob as one unit, as one group. That's why we've used the singular form of the verb. Now, so let's look at now two different sentences. So let's say the jury were divided in their opinions. Or let's say the mob were scattered in all directions. So here I've used the plural form of the verb were here. Why? Because here I'm talking about the members of the jury. I'm looking at each individual member of this collective noun jury. That's the reason why I've used the plural form of the verb. And also be very careful of this part here. Okay, so this is a possessive adjective. Here you cannot use its. Here you have to use their. And opinions, this is a noun. Okay, So if you look at the second sentence now, the mob was scattered in all directions. So here I'm talking about the individuals that make up the mob. So that's why I've used the plural form of the verb here. Okay. So remember this about collective nouns. Now we'll move on to the next rule. There are a lot of words with which we'll use the singular form of the verb. Now, what are those words? So the words are like, let's say, every, each, either. I'm not talking about the combination, I'm not talking about the correlative conjunction either or. I'm just talking about either. Okay? Neither. Let's say everyone, everybody, let's say nobody, let's say many are, let's say much, let's say someone, somebody, and a few more words. With these words, you will always use the singular form of the verb. So let's see how it works. I will write a few example sentences for you kids on the board. So let's say, every child was given a prize. Okay? Let's say, everyone is welcome. Or let's say, let's look at this one, many a. Let's say many a man, let's say, is ruined because of a lack of guidance. Let's say either of the girls has to go attend, let's say has to go to attend the seminar. Or let's say much was said about his maiden speech. If you look at these sentences, okay, so now since I've started the sentence with every, I've used the singular form of the verb. Here too I've used the singular form of the verb. Here too I've used the singular form of the verb. Either of the girls has to go to attend the seminar. I've started this sentence with either, so that's why I've used the singular form of the verb here. And let's say much was said about his maiden speech. Okay, so since I've started the sentence with much, I've used the singular form of the verb. Okay, so do remember this, and there are a lot more rules that that I will go through with you. Okay, fine. So we will continue in the next class. Next class, what I'll do is, I think I'll continue with this, and then we will move on to the last stanza of We Are the Music Makers, and I'll also speak to you about the important points of the story. I'll discuss the story quality with you. That's it for now. Bye, kids.